it's Sarah or Lovely Day back with another video. Now you might be wondering why I'm not showing you the front of this doll, and it's because she has a new face up and I don't want to reveal it quite yet. Those of you who are familiar with my crew will probably recognise this doll as Claire. Recently I sold Claire to a friend, and as a part of that I offered to redo her face up. Even though they're adopting this doll from me, the character Claire will stay here, so this girl is going to have a whole new character to go with her new look. So today you get to see that transformation from Claire to Elizabeth. I did her face up yesterday, and for once I actually managed to record my whole process. So without further ado, let's watch this girl get her face up. Now I wanted to show you the whole process here. So of course that includes removing the old face up. The first thing I do is remove the eyelashes. I try to do this in a way so that I can salvage them and potentially reuse them in the future. To do this, I dip my paintbrush into my nail polish remover, which is acetone free by the way. I brush that along the base of the eyelash, and once I think I've done that enough, I get my tweezers and try and pull the eyelash off. Now the first one doesn't go too well, it actually comes off in two pieces, but what can you do? I prefer to use a flannel with my nail polish remover to get the face up off. I find it better than a cotton swab just because it doesn't break apart on me and I can make sure that I really get in there. It's always fun removing one side of the face up first, that way you can really see the difference that a face up can make. Now this eyelash actually cooperated and I was able to move it off in one piece. When you see me take her off screen, all I'm doing is dunking her in some soapy water, just to try and limit the amount of time that remover is on the resin. For those harder to reach places, I'm using a paintbrush, once again dipped in that nail polish remover. Once I've removed everything, I give the head a really good wash. Here I'm just removing the hot glue sueding from her neck because I didn't want it to pick up any of the blushing and do something weird. And with that, she's clean. Before I start with the face up, I seal my head 3 times using a matte varnish. The first layer is all about just adding some variation to the resin. She's a very stark white at the moment, so I want to try and add some shadows in there. I always like to use a mix of different pastel colours too. As you can see, I'm using big fluffy makeup brushes. I find they give me the best results. And of course a magic eraser just to buff away things I don't like. Now you might be wondering, what the hell is that ribbon coming out of her neck? The reason I have it there is to help me when I'm sealing her. Because the thing is, I'm in an apartment building, we don't have a balcony or anything. So when I spray her, I literally lean out the window. And it's really nerve-wracking. The last thing I would want to do is drop her. So to give me that extra peace of mind, I literally tie her to my wrist. I seal her again and then move on to another layer. I chose to dive straight in with my pencils. There's not really any rules to what order you should do this in. At the time I felt like picking up my pencil, so I did. I'm using purple first to define the crease in her eyelid, as well as add some little details on her lips and make a start on her eyeliner. When you see me put the head down, I'm sharpening my pencils. It's really important to keep those pencils super sharp so that your lines can be as neat as possible. Sorry about my head kind of sneaking into the view there, you'll see it quite a bit. My fluffy hair gets in the way slightly. Next thing, it's time for me to grab my black pencil, and I'm just going in on top of those purple lines, adding more definition and making it darker. Righto, so now it's time to do some eyeshadow. I chose to mix a couple of the purples, a brown, and some grey, I think. To apply the eyeshadow, I use my little flat makeup brush. Then I use my magic eraser to help blend it out. I decide it's probably a good idea to use a paper towel to stop my hands from coming in contact with the doll, just because I'm prone to getting pastel on my hands, and then if I hold the doll I get pastel on the doll, and it's not something you really want. Some people use gloves, but I find this works just as well for me. Next I add some more definition to her cheeks. I wouldn't say it's blush necessarily, more like a shadow under her eyes. I did this on Millie's Faceup as well, and I really liked it, so I figured I might as well do it on this one too. Right, this is the only time you'll see me use pink in this face up. I only use a little bit and I mix it with some orange and some yellow just to add some blush to her cheeks, and then a little bit on her forehead as well. It's really important that I remove any fallout that might have occurred from the eyeshadow in the lips, because I'm about to seal in this layer and the last thing I want is for random bits to be sealed in. At this point I seal her again, and now I'm on to the next layer. If you're counting, that's sealant layer number 5. It's really important to use sealant as you go, because otherwise it's really hard to build up colour and to make those blacks pop. It's important to say too that this whole process took most of my day. Although if you add up the time of me just sitting down and working on the face up, it only ends up being about 3 hours. That doesn't take into account all of the time you have to spend waiting for your layers to dry, applying sealant, all that stuff. Here I start adding some eyelashes on. When I draw eyelashes, I like to concentrate them on the outer edge of the eye. When I first draw the eyelashes, I use brown and then I go in with black. I add a little bit of blushing around her nose and then a teeny bit on her chin. Right, now the eyebrows. Eyebrows are difficult. I got the one on the right side really quickly, but the one on the left took a couple of attempts.
Now that the eyebrows are where they need to be, I was able to start on this little tattoo on her forehead. It's an upside down crescent moon, and I pulled out my phone so I could have the reference right there next to me. Same as with the eyebrows, I use soft pastels to kind of figure out where it needs to be before going in with some pencils. Even though it's black, I use brown pencil first. Once I have the brown outlines there, I go in with my black pencil. Before I seal this layer, I add a bit more colour to her lips. I knew I wanted them to be quite dark. Right, this layer is sealed, and then I move on to the next one. First thing I do is I go in with my black pencil, darken up that crescent moon. You can really see how much darker it's able to get thanks to the sealant. Forgot to say too, I'm using a paper towel again just to stop my hand from rubbing against the Faceup. It's finally time to use my white pencil to add some highlights on the top of her eyelid, on the top of her lips, anywhere you want it really. It's always a super satisfying step. It makes everything just look that much better. Using my ridiculously small white pastel, I highlight her cheeks slightly. Although in doing so, I've lightened her bottom eyelashes, so I just go in with my black pencil again to darken them back up. I used a little bit of water to moisten the bit between her lips, just because I was finding it difficult to get pastel in there. By adding some water, it meant that when I went in with my pastels, the pastels would stick to it. And here's the Faceup all finished. Since this is the last layer, I seal her twice before moving on to the next step. The next step is adding gloss. I just use Mod Podge for this. It's super easy to apply and use, and most importantly makes things look nice and shiny. I choose to apply this on the upper eyelid as well as the waterline and of course her lips. Don't be alarmed by the fact that it's white at the moment, it dries clear. Okay, it's all dry and she's looking pretty great. Right, let's put her eyes in. These eyes are purple, so they go perfectly with her eyeshadow. And here she is, finally, all glossed, even with her eyes in. I'm really happy with how she turned out, and I hope you like her too.
Everybody meet Liz. I'm so happy with how her Faceup turned out. I was a little bit worried I wouldn't be able to do it justice, but I must say I think I did pretty well. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but yeah. Now, she doesn't have her eyelashes on yet. The ones I ordered for her haven't actually been shipped. So Jade will be putting on eyelashes for her when she gets her, but I do think she's gorgeous even without them. I definitely think that this sculpt in white skin was always meant to have a dark face up. Now the wig will be staying with me. I'll be sending her in a pink one, although Jade will be getting a black wig for her with purple on the ends, which I'm sure will be beautiful and I cannot wait to see it. Later on today, I'm going to be shipping this girl off to her new home, so you won't be seeing her anymore behind me, which will be a little bit sad, but she's definitely going to the best place possible. I'm so glad I was able to sell her to such a lovely person, and to someone who has become such a great friend. Jade, I hope you like her in person and that she's everything you hoped she would be. And with that, I'm going to end this video here. So thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it. It has been lovely, and I will catch you in another video sometime soon.